Yeah, he got his own Ric Flair type sound. Like, but you know Soil King? Like, even when you say his name, like, Soil King, he goes, woo! That is what he does. Can you imagine having him live in your house, Dr. Denley? And listen, you guys realize that's Baron Dr. James Denley. He was in tremendous pain, but he made a commitment to be here with us. You never know what people are going through. But that man retired in 1995 and then found out there's no such thing as retirement. He's just gainfully unemployed. He is constantly pouring himself into other people instead of working. He's been doing that since 95. But thank you for being here. You'll hear him in a moment. But the Soil King and I got to talking, and he was like, hey, I want to talk with people, I want to help people, and I want to do something different. I said, if you're talking about making a difference in the world, you're talking my language. But I don't want to talk about smoking weed. He said, I'm not talking about smoking weed. And like, all right, what are you talking about? He said, it's more important stuff than that, and people try to pigeonhole about that. I'm over that. I'm about cause and purpose. He said, what's a great purpose? And he said, agriculture. You can teach people the understanding that God gave them a great gift with soil. And what I'll tell you what we'll deal with as soon as he's done, I'll come back to that word soil when you hear Tony Childs in a moment. Tell him a little bit about you, brother.
I don't even know where to start.
Well, you're Soil King.
I mean, there's a lot of different things. You know, I'm built by my story, right? Just to give you a little snapshot, 13 years old, coming home, trying to get in the house, realized mom didn't want to be a mom, moved out, left me, I was homeless, and it was the greatest experience in my life. Because of that, I am who I am today. Because of that, I bought my first house at 19 years old. I started my first company at 18 years old, and I never went to high school, graduated, I went to college later on in life, and a lot of different things. But my passion is in people, right? When you teach a child how to plant a seed, especially, I'll get away from that, especially today, in today's modern era, you know, back in the day during the Great Depression, everybody planted and had food. But today you have a family in a culture that is living in their living room on their electronics, and there's no family atmosphere. But when I grab one of my junior farmers and I teach them how to plant vegetables, how to grow food, how to produce eggs and feed their family, it brings the atmosphere right back to the table. When you watch a child harvest his hard works, and children, you can't teach the parents. Really, these days, parents are too busy, but when you hit the heart of a child and you teach them how to prepare food and put it on a plate and bring it to the table, all of a sudden the entire family comes back to that table and they start breaking bread. Right? That's what our culture in our life is missing today. It's missing that family. It's missing God. It's missing the love and support. It's missing the child looking at the parents and the parents being proud of him for what they are absolutely doing. Right? It's a whole different world. So me, what I teach, I came in here, I didn't know what I was going to say. First, I want to give an applause to this guy who's bringing a different spin on what motivation is. You know, conscious motivation, right? Isn't that what this is? And God-driven. So I'm meeting her was, you know, I'm a, you know, I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but you know, I'm a survivor of suicide.
See how hard people find to say it?
You know, and it's hard to talk about. I feel comfortable in this room talking about that. Right? I'm also, because of who I am, I've learned how to make my childhood my abilities, not my disabilities. And everything in life, you have a choice. You either learn from it and it takes you down, or you make it an ability and you prosper because of it. It doesn't matter what I look at or what I do. My abilities and my stories have set me on the path of greatness. It really has. They call me the Soil King, and I'll just go into, I'm trying to, so I don't take up, I know we're running out of time, but okay, I'm just gonna, Q&A, here we go. In San Francisco, in the streets, a street sweeper picks up what? Think about it. Come on, let's go. What does a street sweeper pick up? trash, feces, right? Radiator fluid. I mean, one of the most toxic things that come in the streets is the tar running off the roof from the rain, right? I mean, really, that is. So where does that street sweeper go? It goes to the dump. What part of the dump? Landfill. What are they producing in the landfill? Compost. What is the certification programs? Where are you at over there, Mr. Regulations? Let's talk, right? So now all of a sudden we're creating compost. We're creating this, recycling's great. It's a money grab, it's a money give, it's a money grab. You're paying for garbage to be dumped. That compost is now riddled with so many contaminants. And now you have certification programs like OMRI, CDTFA, or CDFA, certifying this stuff. At that moment, they are taking this garbage and they're putting it back on our farmlands, on our agricultural lands, and these farmers are being able to go under organic regulations, right? They're certified organic. Now we're eating that toxic waste, that toxic, horrible stuff. Nobody talks about it. Anyways, that's just a very small snapshot of what I do. I do produce soils. I ship soils all across the country, other parts of the world. I sit on a platform. I talk about this stuff. I bore a lot of people, but for me, this is what I do. And my motto is changing the world one plant at a time with responsible farming practices. And yeah, God's great. God's great.
All the time.
He says, changing the planet. What's that saying?
Changing the world one plant at a time with responsible farming practices.
I'm glad I had you say it again. I thought he said one planet at a time. I'm like, that's some work, man. That's some work.
Anyways, thank you.
Listen,
Nice to meet you.
we were talking about soil. And soil is what God made man out of. And we're made in his image, crafted in his image, and all those things. But soil can get broken. Sometimes we can feel like our life isn't worth living. And that's where you were just talking about. You see how hard it was for him to admit that I was a survivor of suicide. Because we feel a sense of shame with it. And when we carry a sense of shame, we don't talk about it, because we don't talk about it, somebody else ends up grieving about it. And that's when Brandon